has shut down on basically identifying. Today's date is 5/18/2016. My name is Leah Michelle Cash, and I'm interviewing Hardy Brown Jr. for the Archiving Black History in the Inland Empire Project. His name is spelled
HARDYBROWN.
Jr. We're interviewing here at Wilma Minas Carter's in Rialto, California. Thank you, Mr. Hardy, for taking out the time to conduct this interview with us. So our first question is, very briefly, can you just tell me a little bit about your role in the Black Voice Foundation?
So as the Executive Director of the Black Voice Foundation, I run the overall operations here at our location in San Bernardino. We are the nonprofit to the Black Voice newspaper, better known now as the IE Voice. And this newspaper was started 45 years ago by my parents. Now me and my sisters are into the second generation of ownership, and I lead the entire nonprofit arm where we do some history pieces, where we work in the schools, and in working in the schools we're doing assemblies, teaching kids we're more alike than different. And then we're also working with parents in parent engagement, creating leaders there within school districts, and working with the teachers, teaching them how to teach engaging, intriguing history. And we do that utilizing the Underground Railroad tour that we've been doing now for the last 20 years. We take them on a 8-day tour where they get to see up close and personal real life history that they get to understand and bring back to the classroom.
That's fascinating. So now, as a young person, you have a whole entire community that is very proud of you in regard to your recent election. So can you explain your elected title and a little bit about that role?
Perfect. First of all, thank you so much for calling me a young person, because my daughters would never say that. But my position, I was recently elected to San Bernardino County Board of Education, and that covers Area D. We're broken up in sections, but we cover the entire county. Now, the entire county is 33 school districts, 412,000 students. My area covers the entire city of Highland, the entire city of San Bernardino, the entire city of Rialto, a portion of Fontana, and then I go up the 15 freeway and I cover Wrightwood, Phelan, Oak Hills, parts of Victorville, and parts of Hesperia.
That's Dr. Henry's territory over there, Oak Hills.
Yes.
So, what are your goals in this new position?
Well,
Newly elected position.
I think some of my goals are to continue to do the work that we're doing. I'm active in the community working with kids, and I want them to see that men care about education as well. And my story, and I think I want to record this for the future so that people understand that I'm not just this person who, is just kind of polished and became this elected official. But coming out of San Bernardino High School, I was a student just like many of these students. And I barely graduated high school with a 2.1 GPA, even though my father was on the school board and my mother was active in the community. Even though I had a PhD sister, I still barely graduated high school. And it wasn't because I was dumb. It was because I was lazy. I just enjoyed dancing, and school wasn't a priority to me. And it took me until I went to Wilberforce University. And when I attended Wilberforce University in Ohio, which is the nation's first historically black university, I'll never forget this. A professor walked up to me, grabs me by my collar, and says, "Young man, you can be sharp if you would just put some meat with those potatoes." And I was like, what is he talking about? And it took me a couple of years, and I started to watch the other men around our campus, young men, young leaders. When I saw it, the light finally came on, and I realized that I had been given a gift to come back into our community, to make a difference, to be a business leader, to be an educational leader, and make and duplicate those type of leadership opportunities for other students. And so when the position came available for me to run for San Bernardino County Board of Education, I was first appointed for a year, and then I had to run. And so I'm technically the first African American ever to serve on the San Bernardino County Board of Education, which my father also ran for and did not win. 20 years ago. But from there, I ended up winning an election, and I don't know the exact percentage what I won by. I don't remember the exact number, but I know I had about 17,000 votes between this entire area. It is a nonpartisan position, and I ran on the idea of having a regional conversational education. It was time out for us to be so segregated in our thoughts. And I'm not talking about segregated from demographics. I'm talking about segregated just from our thought process about student success. I'm tired of us being that group who, Los Angeles County and San Diego County and even Riverside County kind of shuns upon. I wanted to make sure that our entire Inland Empire region, that we come together and talk about the success of our students and let the men stand out and do what they do and support these amazing women who are leading our schools, and then get involved with our kids so that we can do even better.
So, in what you've just said, you have defined a little bit about how you want to make a difference and how someone made a difference to you when you were at Wilberforce. Who has actually inspired you that you have just sat back? Is it a whole slew of people?
It
or is there anyone that just really, really stands out?
Yeah, my father's still alive, so I get a chance to sit down and talk to my dad about strategy, about life, about how he did what he did. He's the first African American ever to serve as president of San Bernardino City Unified School District, and so I get a chance to talk to him. My mother is in the assembly as a current sitting assembly person for the 47th district, and she's an inspiration. But I also have other people that I talk to. There's people back east, William Gray, who headed the United Negro College Fund. He was one of my mentors, and he was a person who sat down with me and talked to me about professionalism. Carl Dameron, who's here in this community, gave me one of my first internships. Mayor Robinson, who's the mayor of Rialto, she gave me my first internship working at Caltrans. And so I learned from some of these people how to do what I do. Of course, I was raised at St. Paul AME Church, and being raised at St. Paul and AME Church, they taught us all about leadership skills and development, and all those things together kind of clicked and became who I am today. And of course, those professors at Wilberforce made a big difference. But these people have done some amazing things in their lives. I do have to make sure I mention there's a gentleman, he's not in our community, but his name is Marshall Mitchell, and then there's another gentleman named Reverend Dr. Floyd Flake. These are two people that I work with at Wilberforce University, and they were mentors to me in a professional light, and they really taught me a lot when I left the community and moved back east to Ohio. I worked directly with them as we would do exactly what I'm saying I'm doing now. This is what we did with those students on that college campus.
Because you're a community baby.
Yeah.
And that took a lot of courage and some big steps to move out of that community and a lot of those loving arms that were holding you up and go to a historical black college like you did in Ohio. What was the culture shock once you moved there?
Oh, there was no culture shock for me. I mean, the thing I love about an HBCU is when you walk on the campus, that's family. As soon as you see them, and even if they're from Detroit, Chicago, Dayton, Cincinnati, it doesn't matter. That is family, and you become brothers and sisters, and you lead together. And that's one of the things that I learned to be able to bring back to the community, is how to take those skill sets that I learned at an HBCU, bring those back, pour those not only into my own children, but into other children. And then partner with some of the leaders in the community and just say, hey guys, we have to do this. We have to be involved, we have to be visible, and we have to be persistent in how we do things. And we can't be stuck in one area. If you see me, one of the things you're going to see is that I am regional. I will be in Moreno Valley, Riverside, Corona, Adelanto, Victorville, San Bernardino.
That is absolutely
I'm
the
very
truth.
regional in my thoughts. That's what I wanted to run on, and I think that not only my seat, but our business and our family business fits that mold as well.
So 10 years from now in this elected, or 20 years from now, 15 or 20, in this elected position that you are in, what do you think your legacy will be, and what do you want to encourage young people to do?
Perfect. I'll give you the couple of things that I've learned in the system so far that I'm working on. I can't, as one person, change the entire system. this system is too daunting, it's too large to change the entire system. But what I've learned is I pick what I can do, those small little things, and work toward those things. So I have a couple of things that I've launched out on. One, of course, that conversation, that cradle to career conversation,
Cradle to
regional.
career.
The first thing that I did is I had the superintendent, the county superintendent, break apart our entire dynamic, how we look at our students, breaking into the demographic breakdowns, and then let's start targeting the ones who need the help the most. The first group that we went after, and we went after that this year, in my first year elected in office, or actually second year elected in office, was a task force for African American student success. We reached out to all 33 school districts, and we didn't go for bad numbers. We wanted to go for, there are amazing students in our county. Amazing students in our cities, and amazing students in our schools. Who are the teachers that are teaching them? Who are the parents that are parenting them? Who are the community members that are working with them? And who are those amazing students? If we can find those students, interview them, we can duplicate their services and what they do, and so we can give that to other generations. And that's the first thing that we did. And so we have a task force report on African American student success. We're not looking at the bad numbers; we're looking at the good.
Good numbers.
We have a graduation rate of African Americans of about 72% right now, and we're definitely pushing that. And this task force is going to be one of those things that help that, because we're going to show those other kids, hey, this is what you can do. You can be that student, and we're going to show them how to do that. So that's one thing that I want to do. The second thing I want to do is just something that's it's something I've always wanted to do. I take kind of an idea from our First Lady, Michelle Obama, and I take the concept and the idea of healthiness for our kids. And I believe that one of the things that we can do, and we don't do it here on the West Coast, but they do it back east, is double dutch jump rope. And so I am actually putting together an entire platform, the same way you have a countywide science fair. We're doing a countywide double dutch jump rope competition for students. And the idea is to get them moving again, get them out from playing the video games, from just being on their cell phones, but to interact and play and just have a good time. If we can do that, tying that into our nutrition, the goal is to reduce the obesity rates of our children here in San Bernardino County. So those are some of the things that I'm working on right now. And then we're going to target girls on that same report next, and the Latino students after that. And we're going to look at all the different student subgroups and see how we can find out who's doing well, how can we duplicate that.
And that's the project you want to start.
Yeah, and we've already embarked on those. So when we look at this back 10 years later, my goal is to accomplish things. I'm very thoughtful in my measurement. I don't say I want to do something I can't measure. So the types of things that I do, you'll see as a tangible piece. It should be a document that will say African American Student Success Task Force. And it should say, you should be able to see a report in 10 years saying, here's the double dutch competition. These are things that I'm pushing for as we go through. And then I'm, of course, looking at how we develop our LCOP plans. I'm looking at how we develop our budgets. I'm definitely working on suspension rates and graduation rates, trying to inspire students in that particular area as well. One of the things that we do, a little bit from my seat from the county, but also from my seat from the foundation, we developed this program. It's called Men Mob. In the Men Mob, we go from school to school. We've now been in 8 different school districts throughout San Bernardino and Riverside County. And we go and we'll play. We surprise the kids. We go to the school, either high schools or middle schools, and we look at the schools that have some of the numbers that really have that need. And we go and we inspire the kids. So we line up like a tunnel, like a football tunnel or like a basketball tunnel, and we play either the Chicago Bulls theme song, Michael Jordan, for those of you who won't know this in 10 years, but or Steph Curry, LeBron James will say that. But we play that music, and then we play the Rocky theme music, and we play really hype music, and we high five these kids, let them know that the men of the community are here, and we believe in them, and then we support them, and then we know they can be successful. So we've been doing that now for the last year, and our goal is to be able to measure that. Now, some measurements that we've seen, and we're still working on the real measurement from it, but every school that we've gone to, that day and the day after, 0 suspensions on that campus. So, and that's all subgroups. 0 suspensions on the entire campus. So if we can
That's
take
amazing.
that and duplicate that, then we'll make a difference for our kids.
Yeah, and you are making a difference.
Thank you.
But I would be remiss with all of your achievements and everything that you've done in the community not to bring up the Girl Scouts.
Oh, I know, right?
Because that scene from the Oscars when Chris Rock had all of them come out, all the Girl Scouts come out regarding selling those cookies, all I could think of was Hardy Brown.
Oh, yeah.
You must have jumped off the couch.
I love
So what is your take on how many years you have empowered and helped with the Girl Scouts
Good.
of America?
So I've been on the board of directors for San Gorgonio Council Girl Scouts for the last 8 years. And a lot of people ask me, well, why do you do that? Why do you do that? Well, they don't understand my background story. I am an only son with 3 sisters. I grew up in a house full of women. I've now been married this year, will be 20 years.
20 years.
And in that 20 years, I have 2 daughters, no sons. So all I've grown up with are women my entire life. So empowering girls is something I do personally in my life with my daughters, and also through scouting. Scouting is about the leadership and development of these young women, regardless of race, class, or background. And as a Girl Scout leader, I've worked with them on increasing the diversity. I've worked with them on increasing their fundraising and their corporate support. And I'm usually a community face, so go out to the color run, have them pour stuff all over me, act a fool, but also let the girls know that the men in the community will not give up on them, that we will be there not just for a paycheck to help them, but we're going to be there to support them, to let them know that they can do it. And by doing that over and over, year again and year again, then we can show that those numbers are going to be successful. And our Girl Scout Council here is probably ranked either number 1 or number 2 in the entire country.
Yeah.
And so I'm really proud to be on the Girl Scout.
Yeah,
board.
you've been a very valuable asset on that board. But speaking of boards,
Yeah.
there's another board,
Yeah.
United Way Board.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about United Way Board.
Yeah, so I was on the United Way board, Arrowhead United Way, and I helped them with funding and helped them also with their young leadership council, and that was bringing in young leaders. At the time, I think I was still in my 30s. Yeah, because I'm 44 now. I said that for the camera, so you guys can see it in 22 years. But I served on the Young Leaders Council, and we did a lot of work in the community to show that people can make a difference. And I think there's some videos out there on me on YouTube, doing some of the things that I do, talking to the community, raising funds for United Way. And so I'm really proud about the other work that I do in the community. There is one other board that you probably don't know that I'm on. Actually, I'm on 2 other boards that you probably don't know about. One is the Riverside, University of California Riverside Library Archive Board.
Okay.
I'm on that board where we're looking at the African American research and studying all of the research the same way we're doing this project, but from the university level at UCR. And then I'm also on the MBA board, advisory board for Howard University in DC.
Okay.
And I'm in
Wow,
charge
that's
of all the
huge.
recruiting
That's
for the
another
entire West Coast.
historical black college.
Yes, that is our
But-
flagship.
But the archiving for the for UCR, because is that the one where the Ebony magazines or the magazines went, or you had?
Yeah, I've had several archive events there and artifact events there. Yeah, but yeah, so they asked me to be on that board, and we're trying to do some really interesting things there as well.
And Black Voice News is archived.
Yes, that's what we started our paper. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Hardy Brown Jr., you're quite an accomplished young man.
Thank you.
And we are so very thankful that you gave us just a little spotlight into you.
You guys have said I'm actually really funny. I'm not this serious.
So we thank you for your time, because we know you're a very busy man, for giving us the information regarding you and being an outstanding young person,
Thank you.
African American in the Inland Empire.
Thank you. Can I give one last thing?
Yes, you
All right.
can.
So one last thing, and I'm doing this for people to have hope down the road, so they can
Okay.
understand that they're not alone. A lot of times we do kind of look at some of the negatives, but I want to give this group in 10 years, I think one of my flagship things that is never spoken about, and that is that I'm a darn good father. My
Fatherhood.
daughter, yeah, my daughter, who I've been at her side every single day since she was a little girl, and this is my oldest that I'm talking about. My youngest, by the time this play is played again, she should be graduating high school as well. My daughter's graduating high school next week, and she's graduating from Middle College High School in San Bernardino. She has a 4.47 GPA.
Wow.
She's not only graduating on Wednesday from high school with straight honors, she's graduating on Friday from the community college, San Bernardino Valley College, with her associate's degree. She did high school and community college at the same time.
Wow.
We were there every single day, me and my wife, to make sure that she was successful. We gave her the tools that she needed to be successful. She was accepted to 24 universities, including Spelman, Ohio State, and several other universities. And she's accepted a full-ride presidential academic, has never played a sport, academic scholarship to San Diego State University to study economics, entrepreneurship, and African American studies. And her goal is to become a university president, possibly get into politics. Maybe by the time we show this again, we'll have her as a congresswoman or something.
Yes.
But we talk to her all the time about giving back to the community, so she knows that the seed that is planted today in her education and the scholarships that she's received from several of our community groups here, her goal is to come back to our community and do exactly what her family has been doing for the last 50 years. That is her responsibility, that is her right, and that's what she's supposed to do. And as a parent and any one of our leaders, we should be talking to our kids about loving our community, to do more, to come back. It's not enough to take all your chips and all your money and go play up in the hills. You got to come back in the community. You have to work, you have to give, and you have to be an example for that next generation.
Yes. Wow.
That's it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank
Very
you.
much.
All right.
Okay.